Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR365.com and podweather.com with the latest on our three hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. Taking a look out there today, we have two major hurricanes. One is Major Hurricane Karl nearing landfall here, not looking as good as it was this morning, but still an extremely dangerous hurricane for the area there south of Veracruz. It is currently a Category 3 storm. We'll talk about Karl. We have another Category 3 hurricane in Igor, still a monster, massively large hurricane that continues to plow in the general direction of Bermuda up here. And we now have a hurricane watch for that island. And behind it is Hurricane Julia, which is looking very poor. And behind that is an interesting wave with a low chance for development, but indications are that this activity we've seen might continue the next 2 weeks, with maybe one or two more hurricanes, possibly one in the Caribbean and Gulf within a 10 to 12 day time frame. But that's a long way out, and we've got to focus on what we have out there right now, which is, of course, Hurricane Karl. Now, here's the latest as of 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, and that is also 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hurricane Karl was at 19.4 north, 95.9 west, so it is the furthest south major hurricane for the Bay of Campeche here, and it is currently packing winds of 120 miles per hour, gusting upwards of 150. So this is a dangerous major hurricane, a Category 3, moving west at 8, so it slowed down. That gave it time to become a major hurricane, even though it did it in a very short amount of time. Last time I spoke to you, it was only a tropical storm here, getting ready to prepare to leave. Over the course of just a day, it's gone up to a major hurricane, 967 millibars. Pressure has been going up, winds have been going down. It doesn't look like it will become the 140 mile per hour Category 4 it was forecast to this morning. Nevertheless, a dangerous major hurricane. You can see the model guidance is pretty straightforward. Karl's going to move inland. It's got a little bit south of west component to its track right now. I'll show you that too. And Dr. Jeff Masters from the Weather Underground blog, good guy, really smart guy, actually been on IPR programming a little bit the last few years. He noted that of the three major hurricanes we've seen in the Bay of Campeche that were of Category 3, 4, and 5, we had Charlie and 51, a different Charlie, which was a Category 4, and then we can do a 3 as it came near Tampico generally. We had Hilda, which was a major hurricane in 55, which headed in that general direction. But look at how far south Karl is, and look at how it's a tropical storm, and then all of a sudden a Category 1, 2, 3 hurricane right before landfall. It is coming in north of Veracruz, and it looks like Veracruz could be getting some very, very nasty weather from this major hurricane. No doubt about that. Here's the latest visible satellite loop. Beautiful looking hurricane. Again, not as well organized as it had been, but still right there at the end, there's the eye, getting very, very close to the coastline. It is moving generally south of west, maybe west-southwest based on that loop. Is kind of getting tugged inward to the coastline. Again, this whole bay is really not that large. For a body of water, an ocean body like the Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche is just one small cog of all of that. Nevertheless, it can support an inner core like this and crank it up to a major hurricane, as we have seen with Hurricane Karl. Looking at Hurricane Karl from a different perspective, on the infrared you can see it definitely spun up and it was looking extremely impressive, and it's gotten a little ragged as it gets closer to land. Land interaction is hurting it, but not enough to not cause this to be a very intense hurricane as it makes landfall in the next few hours. You can see here's the visible from afar, and as I put that into motion there, you can see obviously as the sun went down and came up, Karl has made that little southward dip there and has become a major hurricane. Now another major hurricane we have is another Category 3, same strength as Karl, pressure a lot lower though. This is Hurricane Igor, of course. At 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Igor was at 23.1 north, 60.1 west, again 120 gusting to 150. Those are the winds, a solid Category 3 hurricane, and it is moving northwest still slowly at 9, and it is expected to remain a major hurricane through about Sunday night, and then be weakening to a Category 2 as it passes just over or west of Bermuda. This should be your worst hurricane hit since Hurricane Fabian, which was a 120-mile-per-hour hurricane just as it passed to your west in 2003, 7 years ago. And this one could be a lot worse. And when I say a lot worse, what I mean by that is you can see it is expected to generally pass right by Bermuda, but not too fast. You're still talking about 2, 3, 4 days before this completely clears the area. And if you look right now, take a look at this. This is the wind field of the hurricane. The hurricane wind field is huge. You can see hurricane force winds right in this area here, tropical storm force winds in here. If that eye goes just west of Bermuda, you guys are going to be in that swath of hurricane winds for a long time, and the tropical storm force winds for an even longer period of time. So this is nothing to mess around with. Again, you can still see 120 miles per hour gusting to 150. Igor is still an extremely dangerous major hurricane. Taking a look at Igor from afar, you can see right there it continues to look impressive. Wrap around could strengthen a little bit. It's been strengthening on and off the last few days, but generally just a very large and powerful major hurricane moving northwest now. Here's the visible. You can see as the sun went down, Igor did look interesting, but as it came up, it's looking good once again. So could it get up 125, 135, maybe become a Cat 4 again? I think it's possible. That pressure is pretty low, and we do have those planes heading out to check it out. Behind Igor, we do have Julia. You can see Julia coming into view here. Well, what's the latest? Hurricane Julia's weakened. It's now a Category 1. It's at 24.2 north, 46.7 west. Winds are down now to 85 miles per hour, gusting to 105, a far cry from the Category 4 it had once been. Still moving west-northwest fast at 19, right into Igor's outflow, so that's going to weaken it more. 981 millibars, and it is expected to remain a hurricane until tomorrow morning, and then make that turn north and out. However, looking at the latest model guidance, you can see some of these models here are pretty zany. The BAM shallow here actually pulls it northwest, then back west, then southwest, then southeast, and then east, and then west again. Kind of doing a backward Z hook here, but if it did that, it'd probably just do a whole figure eight and head back out eventually, but I don't even think that's likely to happen. Right now you can see some of the models do want to just completely turn this back. If that did occur, and Julia ended up here or down here, then it would be a threat to Bermuda, the Bahamas, possibly the East Coast, and the Canadian Maritimes, but that's not going to happen. Julia's probably going to pull out. You can see the consensus is for it to do so, but nevertheless, it's still an interesting feature that we continue to watch. There's the latest infrared. You can see it's trying to hold on to hurricane intensity. It had an eye, got sheared, but it's got a little convection blowing back over. Igor's outflow's really putting a big stab on its western side there, as well as the northern side, and you can see at the end of that visible loop, it definitely is getting a little exposed here, so it looks like Julia may not be a hurricane for much longer at all. Now, before I let you go, I did want to note we do have this wave off of Africa. Not looking all that impressive, but it does have a little twist to it, and some of the model guidance indicates that this has a low chance for development. But in the longer range, watch the Caribbean. This is the Canadian, and it does show in about 4 or 5 days a system coming straight out of the southwest Caribbean, aiming at Louisiana as a strong hurricane. It is September. We are in a very active hurricane season. Every single hurricane we've had this year, every single one has become a major hurricane. And if we get another one in the Caribbean with those waters, the environment looks favorable, it could become a major hurricane too. And quite frankly, the GFS model has been extremely consistent in developing a major hurricane, either heading it towards South Texas. I saw one run take it to Florida, some keep it further south into Mexico. Either way, this hurricane season ain't done with yet, and we're going to have to deal with it. Same thing for you in the islands. Models still indicating some Cape Verde activity, so you got to keep an eye on that. Well, that's the latest on dangerous Hurricane Karl, dangerous Hurricane Igor, and a little bit not so dangerous anymore Hurricane Julia, as well as that wave off Africa. We'll keep you updated here at IPR. Stay tuned. I'm Mike Naso. I'll see you next time.